But you got to decide, you and your nutritionist decide how high you want that lysine. And once you make that decision, you go for it. You say, oh man, this is really scary now, because I've not balanced for amino acids before. We've known about this for 40 years. 40 bloody years. And I wouldn't be standing up here as the person that really was the one that kicked this whole thing off in the United States if it doesn't work. I'm a farmer, remember? I grew up on a farm. I'm not blowing smoke here. Let the science, accept the science, and go for it. Now, when you do that, you gotta feed a protected methionine supplement. Some sort of a protected methionine supplement. So if you raised your hand here, and I'm not going to ask you who's balancing for amino acids, because I would probably get more hands that went up if I asked that question than if I asked how many of you are feeding a rumen protected methionine supplement. Because it's really those that are feeding a rumen protected methionine supplement that are really balancing here for lysine methionine. Okay? It just works that way. It's unfortunate it's that way. It's unfortunate that you have to buy them to make it work, but that's what it takes to make it work. And here's a list of various protected methionine supplements that are on the market. These are what we would call rumen protected methionine supplements. And there are a few others too. I don't have them all listed up here. Here we have some analogs. Alamet. The equivalent, that's sold by Novus. Rotamet AT88 is also methionine analog, sold by Adaceo. And then Novus has another product, which is the calcium salt of that one, called MFP. It's a calcium analog. These are all methionine hydroxy analog, meaning methionine without the amino group, without the nitrogen atom attached to it. Folks, some of you might be feeding them. You might be feeding one of these. And if you are, I think you should. But they're for the rumen. They're not for the cow. There's not enough of these being absorbed by the cow and converted to methionine to be a substitute for protected methionine, in spite of what some marketing people tell you. This product right here is also methionine analog, but they have attached an isopropyl group to it, another small 3-carbon group, such that it can be absorbed rapidly out of the rumen. So this product right here, this Metasmart product, also sold by Adaceo, about 50% of that gets absorbed out of the rumen, converted to methionine, and the rest now is degraded in the rumen and behaves just like those products there. So that's kind of a combination product, if you will. questions on fat? Because I want to get out of fat.
Right here.
Yes.
I don't have a question on that, but I think as a whole here in our area, we're way up on butterfat protein this year.
That's excellent.
Explain that to me though.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's the same thing in Wisconsin. I mean, I'm shocked at some of these. I'm shocked at the number of herds that are going over 4%. I just.
Well, we're not over 4, but we're at 387 right now.
Well, no, that's really good. You're way above average there, right? 365 is the average for your area. Yeah, and that's great. It's great. So something about carbohydrate nutrition there. I think very little of that has to do with anything on amino acid nutrition, although it can, and I'm going to talk about that. But it's pretty much going to be on the carbohydrate side, because if you're that high, you're not suffering from the classical cases of milk fat depression. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's still a lot we don't know, but we're not going to get there, are we? If we just balance diets for non-structural carbohydrates and NDF and crude protein. If anybody can, I have a tough time calling myself a nutritionist, so that's all I balance for. The dairy producers here don't need me for that. Yeah.